Hello, everybody. All right. So with that, welcome to the Mikestand, guys. It's Tuesday night, so second night of the week. Hope everybody's had a good day thus far. Gonna of course give it a moment for give a couple minutes for people to come in. Um, so I hope everybody's having a good week thus far. Um, and we shall. Uh, Let me see. While we're waiting, of course. We are waiting for people to show up. I think I will go off camera here for a moment. People a chance to get in, but while I'm gone, I'll put some music on. I'll be off camera for just a moment. All right, so I'm back now. Just had to, as I said, take care of something real quick. Um, just waiting for Arthur and his Knights of Justice, keeping evil down. Knights of the Stars, Knights of the Stars of the Temple of the Table around. Oh, come on, come on, come on. These are the nights. Arthur and his Knights of Justice, keeping evil down. Knights of the Stars, the lights of the temple around. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Do 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 do. Anyways, oh, let's see where are we at. So we're 3.5 minutes in. So here's what's on tap for tonight. Of course, we got more niche news tonight. Gonna actually be covering a couple. We're gonna be covering three articles tonight. A couple from Critical Blast from RJ's site. One from Bounding in the Comics. The Bounding in the Comics article will come a little later. That's in regards to the Blu-ray release of the movie that hit the One Piece movie that hit last year, One Piece Red. We'll do that in a little while. Also tonight, aside from that, of course, as I said, we're going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and have a couple articles here. RJ's talking about Superman Lost. We'll see what that's all about. Also, one of the other writers had um, one of the other reporters writers at Critical Blast did thing on a graphic novel from Jarrett J. Krosochka. His memoir Sunshine, which is a life affirming tale of hope and adversity. So let's see if anybody's on yet. We haven't. As always, guys, of course, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Also, if also, of course, if anybody if anybody if anybody anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment on or ask questions, and I will try to answer those questions to the best of my ability. Yeah, let me do this one. Get some kind of. All right, so let's see where are we at now. We're just past 6 minutes here. So so I guess what we'll do now then. Let's try one more thing here. All right. So without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Pull up the. As I said, we're gonna get to RJ's stories here. All right. So let's get to this. So here's the first article we're gonna look at here. Superman Lost, in parentheses, the key to good storytelling. I don't know if this is submitted by R.J. Carter on Sunday, April 9th, 2023, 1923, which I think, 1938 rather, which I think was 7:38 local time. So, which would have been central time for him, 5:38 our time. So, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Superman Lost is the first of a 10-chapter miniseries co-created by Christopher Priest and Carlo Pagulayan, with inks from Jason Paz. It has beautiful artwork and some snappy dialogue between the Justice League members as they take on an international incident in the China Sea, and turns out to be far more than just a kerfuffle between countries. So I guess this is a bit of a review. I guess he's doing here. Guess they're both. In fact, if it's not handled quickly, it could cause a black hole to swallow the Earth. And of course, of all Justice League members there, only Superman can fly into the event horizon of the mess and keep it from doing just that. But at a cost. Sucked into the black hole. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the Super Friends episode where some of the Justice Leaguers actually did get caught in the black hole by the Toy Man, and the only people who could actually go into that black hole were Green Lantern and Superman. They had to merge together in order to do it. So, sucked into the black hole, Superman finds himself cosmologically lost. We don't know where. Could be another galaxy. Could be another dimension. Could be he's still in that tiny little space the size of an atom that the black hole collapsed into, or the quantum realm. Whatever, he's there. and he's there for 20 years. How do we know this? Because he's already back mid-story telling his wife what happened just as Bruce Wayne is popping by to deliver condolences of Clark's possible death. Oh boy. Now that's a good storytelling device for a single issue, even a double-sized or two-part story. But 10 issues? Who knows? 10 issues of who knows what? Who knows facing where facing odds that have all the tension sucked out of them because we began at the ending of it all. Oh, Mr. Priest, that's a major faux pas. You'd better have a king-size rabbit to pull out of your hat to attract readers to 9 more issues of anticlimax. Oh God, RJ, RJ's kind of funny there. Let's see. Other than that, it's fun to look at. It's certainly a doozy to read, but aside from the predictable tropes of event horizons and time dilations, the reader knows that everything that is to come is just backstory. Yes, it can work, but you're going to have to prove it to us, and we'll give you that chance. No pressure. He gave this a 3.5 out of 5, which is like 70%, which basically he's giving it a C grade. That's very interesting. Alrighty then, that was a quick read. Let's see if anybody has said anything yet in regard. Hey, Shadowhawk. So going over a couple of articles from yeah, hey Shadowhawk. Going over a couple of articles from RJ's site and then gonna head over to Bounding into Comics to do an article. So hopefully you're having a good day. Good week thus far. So anyways, and if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So with that, why don't we go ahead and move on to the next article here then from Bounding into Comics. Or not Bounding into Comics, I mean Critical Blast. RJ's site. All right. Garrett J. Krosotchka's graphic novel memoir, Sunshine, in smaller parentheses, is life-affirming tale of hope amid adversity. All right, let's see what this has to say. Submitted by Damascus Mintzmeyer on Saturday, April 15th, 9:59 local. Well, if this is based out of RJ's area, it's Central Time, so 9:59 a.m. I guess, which would be in Central Time. That would be 7:59 my time, Pacific Coast. 10:59 or just a little before. So let's get into this. An estimated 400,000 children worldwide under the age of 19 develop cancer every year. Under the age of 19. Again, depending upon what you perceive as children. Legally, it's usually under 18, but I guess here they're saying under 19. Unlike adult cancers, which are most often ascribed to high risk lifestyle or environmental factors, smoking, obesity, exposure to hazardous materials, etc., genetic predisposition and mutations are the common causative culprits for children afflicted with the disease. For a family facing the unexpected tribulation of caring for a child stricken with cancer, the emotional, social, and financial fallout can be devastating. The constant strain of repeated hospitalizations, difficult treatments, and the disruption of ordinary daily routines affects each familial member, and finding even the smallest glimmer of hope in such a bleak situation can be key for patients, parents, and siblings alike. Let's see if anybody. All right, nothing new yet. All right, thank you for the like and the share. That helps. Hopefully, we can get some more friendly people in here. Anyways, and of course, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. All right, due for release by Scholastic's Graphics, imprint April 18th, which is today. Jarrett J. Krosachka's heart-wrenching new coming-of-age autobiographical graphic novel, Sunshine, explores that hope and how its presence can inspire the best in humanity during dark times. The follow-up to his National Book Award nominated debut, Hey Kiddo, Krosachka's latest is a recollection of his time as a counselor at the titular Camp Sunshine, a retreat for children battling pediatric cancer and their families. Yeah. I don't know if that's a real. I don't know if that's a real camper. That I guess that is. I remember Highway to Heaven, which of course starred the late great Michael Landon, had a few shows like that where Jonathan and Mark were portrayed by Michael Landon and of course the late great Victor French, respectively. Went to basically helped out at a camp, much like Camp Sunshine. Set in 1994, 16-year-old aspiring cartoonist Jarrett is one of a group of volunteer students from Holy Name High School chosen to work for a week at the camp. Childhood adversity of his own has made Jarrett eager to help others, but he embarks on the endeavor without fully knowing what awaits him. Arriving at Camp Sunshine with a motley crew of schoolmates, lunkhead jock Chad, overachiever Andrea, charismatic clown Johnny, Jarrett's class tormentor Evelyn, and his quasi crush Christine. Oh yeah, this sounds like a very interesting book. When you had all the kind of classic high school tropes thrown in there. We've seen that in many a great comic, right? If anybody else got anything to say about that? I guess not. Again, though, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Anyways, each are assigned to look over a different patient age group and family. Jarrett's primary task is establishing a one-on-one peer friendship with Diego, an isolated and depressed wheelchair-bound brain cancer patient only a few years younger than himself. But his designated family brings him into contact with plucky, Power Ranger-obsessed, acute lymphoblastic leukemia sufferer Eric. Inspired by Eric's courage in the face of overwhelming odds, Jarrett finds the personal strength to help Diego overcome the despondency that has consumed him. As a visual memoir, there is much going for Sunshine. Krasachka's um, artistic style lies firmly in the same deceptively minimalist indie vein as Craig Thompson of Blankets fame, with primitive figures and line work that nonetheless induces deep emotional resonance, buttressed by a moody palette of muted colors. Wow, this guy's got quite a writing style, doesn't he? Throwing in all the, he's got kind of like me with the vocabulary, right? Quite descriptive, to say the least. There's a poignancy to the story that allows it to transcend the sometimes humdrum, navel-gazing nature of autobiographical comics. Jarrett's own challenges as a youth, a drug-addicted mother, and absentee dad give him a link to both the kids at Camp Sunshine and his fellow counselors, all of whom are revealed to have endured tough luck family affairs. The empathy serves as the beating heart of the storyline. Jarrett learns the true power in serving others, and his interactions have a profound impact on his worldview and the course of his subsequent life. Yet, however fatalistic or downbeat the tale may initially appear, Sunshine succeeds in becoming a life-affirming journey despite thematic undercurrents of sadness, loss, death, and grief. There's both a copious amount of raucous humor. Every counselor dreads donning the camp mascot outfit due to its not nausea-inducing flatulent stench. I guess sometimes what happens when you're stuck in a costume for too long, and you have to fart, right? The the aroma, as it were, probably sticks with you, right? Right. Uh, and an uplifting message woven throughout its narrative fabric, which is simply this: appreciate who you have while you have them, because one day you won't. A paradoxical sentiment, perhaps, but no less true. Filled with tenderness, heartache, and ever earnest prose. Um, Krasachka's experience at Camp Sunshine serves as a much needed reminder that the most important things in life are not things at all, but those closest to our hearts. And it's for that reason that respectable, I bestow Sunshine a respectable 4 out of 5 on my Fang scale. Basically, 80%, or he's given it a grade of B. Um, that does sound like a good story. This is a graphic novel. I could see being turned into a like a TV movie, or something, like maybe on the Great American Network or something like that. Or maybe even on like TVN, or like you know something like that. This sounds like a very positive story here. Um, so yeah, I mean, this sounds like a very good graphic novel to check out if you guys wanted to check it out. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get ready to. Let's see. So, where are we at on time here? 25 minutes. Yeah, okay. So, I got to talk a little bit more here about that stuff. But anyways, with that article, Sunshine, I could truly see, that being quite a graphic novel to read. You know, unlike I guess unlike what RJ was saying about the previous one, Superman Lost, where you got to drag something out for 10 issues. This graphic novel sounds like something that would be a nice read, um, and could be turned into a TV movie. You know, given the right producer behind it, obviously, like somebody like Kevin Sorbo. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next, or the last article we'll probably be doing here. All right, here we go. Here's this one. Now, from what I understand, as with most of the One Piece animated movies, um, this movie was pretty successful. And it's kind of funny how they're talking about this one, because it's like there's a lot of people been talking very critically about the live action adaptation of One Piece coming out. But this animated anime movie right here, um, and this is its Blu-ray release. From what I understand, this was pretty successful past fall. So let's get into this then. All right, so One Piece film Red Blu-ray release date and special features announced. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published earlier today. The next stage of the Pirate Age is coming to Blu-ray, Crunchyroll and Toei Animation. Crunchyroll and Toei Animation at long last unveiled the date One Piece fans can pick up the physical release of One Piece Film Red. One Piece's 15th film revolves around Uda, a performer renowned for her ability to conceal her identity, and who just so happens to be the, in smaller quotes, daughter of the red-haired emperor of the sea, Shanks. The same Shanks, of course, who gave Luffy the straw hat. The sea's most singer, Uda, is set to finally unveil herself to the world at an upcoming live concert attended by Luffy and the Straw Hats, a concert which the Navy is watching closely. Special features within the One Piece Film Red Blu-ray include all 3 episodes of Uda's past arc in the One Piece anime, which are special episodes in the anime that lead up to the events of One Piece Film Red, accompanied by their respective trailers and a web preview. Uda's past arc kicks off with a faint memory, Luffy and Red-Haired's daughter, Uda, which is a flashback of when Luffy made his first encounter with the red-haired pirate Shanks, and his daughter Uda, and the start of Luffy and Uda's friendship. After Shanks, Uda, and the red-haired pirates um, depart in the second special feature episode titled "A Pledge for the New Genesis," Luffy and Uda. Luffy vows he will be on Shanks' ship next time. In the present day, as Uda prepares for her Elysia Island concert, she declares a new Genesis is about to begin. The majority of the Captain's Log of the Legend, Red-Haired Shanks is a recap episode which covers the conclusion of the Summit War of Marineford up to Shanks' past with Luffy. The Captain's Log of the Legend, Red-Haired Shanks, does consist of original scenes which connect the content seen in Uda's past arc to One Piece film Red. There's Red-Haired Shanks right there, who in the English version as Funimation and now, of course, Crunchyroll dubbed Brandon Potter is the guy who does his English voice. Along with these special episodes, the Blu-ray will also feature, quote, a special metallic embossed O-card, unquote. During the 2022 theatrical run, One Piece Film Red set multiple records, including being the highest grossing release in Japan in 2022, which shouldn't surprise anybody. If everybody remembers, One Piece is a part of the Big Three, as they like to call them. One Piece. One Piece, Dragon Ball, and Bleach, I believe. Well, actually, not Bleach. Now, I think now it'd be like I can't remember what the third one would be, but let's see. Let's see now. Let's see where we're at. The fifth highest grossing anime film of all time worldwide, and the highest grossing Toei animation and One Piece title of all time. I mean, think about One Piece, the anime television series is coming up on 1,000 episodes here. The manga, I think, has hit 1,000 chapters, from what I understand as well. So, according to the numbers, the film grossed $12.7 million in North America and another $149.7 million internationally, for a combined global gross of $162.4 million. Box Office Mojo reports the film grossed $151.6 million in Japan alone. Wow, that's pretty big. Yeah, there might be a little something screwy with the math there, but anyways, because I don't think the difference between 162.4 million and 151.6 million is 12.7. It seems more like it's more like 10 million there, but the film would top Toei Animation's previous top grosser in Dragon Ball Super Broly by a whopping $40 million. The film grossed $122.7 million globally, albeit it had a much larger North American box office of $30.3 million. $30.3 million. So, One Piece film Red's Blu-ray set sail into North America on July 11, 2023. The Blu-ray will retail for $34.98. It can currently be pre-ordered through Crunchyroll Store. Will you be adding this one to your collection? So, anyways, so let's see. 35 minutes. So, actually, so it would be a good time. All right. So, with that, that's all the articles I have for you guys tonight. So I guess it would be a good time to go over like the wrestling wrap up, as it were. Um, so um, so with that, let's see. So last night WWE had its Monday Night Raw event. They did make an announcement for Backlash that I guess one of the main events going to be happening at Backlash this year will be Brock Lesnar versus Cody. They used last night to set that up more. As right now, Cody is not cleared to wrestle, but they believe he should be by the time they get to Backlash. And in some other news, of course, and some other WWE news. So of late, of course, there have been two or three people who haven't been on Raw much. Becky Lynch, who is nursing an injury. Becky Lynch and Drew McIntyre, who are nursing injuries. Basically, Becky Lynch playing up the fact that the angle of her getting ambushed or getting betrayed by Trish Stratus. And it was revealed by Trish Stratus last night that the reason she attacked both Lita and Becky is because she felt slighted over the fact that people didn't recognize her as a pioneer of the women's division. And so they're possibly setting up a potential story. Now, Becky also, there's been talk that Becky may be looking to branch out into other aspects of media, much like The Rock and Batista have, getting into the movies. One report has stated that she is actually on her, I guess, some of her social media platforms. She's actually now reverted back to her real name of Rebecca Quinn. Of course, she's had some acting experience already. She, of course, played Cyndi Lauper in the Rock TV series, a little Rock series last year, I believe. So she's looking to go off to Hollywood. Now Drew McIntyre has not been on TV as much. Some people are saying it may be due in part to the fact his contract's coming. Contract will be up at the end of the year, so they probably don't want to put him in any major storylines unless he, of course, re-signs with the WWE. And then there's Aaliyah, who hasn't been on SmackDown since her and Raquel Rodriguez's tag title loss back. I think it was in November. They said, but I think a big part of that, from everything I've been hearing, from everything I've heard, is because I don't think creative has anything for her right now. It's like apparently there was, according to I think Dave Meltzer. He had pointed out that when asked about her, her name doesn't even come up in the creative meeting. Now, some people have argued that maybe with the draft coming up, and with the fact they're going to be shifting talent around again, as they do every year around this time with the draft, they may just be waiting for that to happen before they really start talking about her again, see where everybody ends up there. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. And let's see, in some other news, of course, Goldberg is apparently not happy with the WWE. with how his time ended with them. His contract, of course, up. He's not, now a free agent right now. WWE had asked him to come back to face Roman Reigns after he had COVID. After, of course, Goldberg had COVID and all that. He agreed to do so if he got a chance to have one last positive retirement match. He did not want to necessarily be going. He did not want his last match to be just simply being another guy, another piece of fodder for Roman Reigns. In terms of WWF, trying to keep the title on Roman until he reaches 1,000 days, which is supposed to happen at Night of Champions later this year. Now, recently, of course, on his podcast, Eric Bischoff did suggest to Tony Khan that if he wanted the All-In show at Wembley Stadium that they set up to sell out, they should book a Bill Goldberg CM Punk main event. He even practically dared Tony to do it. Now I don't know how if I the problem with that though is that is of course that Goldberg is considered reckless, and even more reckless now. Now that he's kind of past his prime a bit. Still a capable performer, but not at the same level he was. But he's always been considered a bit reckless. Bret Hart would tell you that in a minute. Having suffered a kick that ended his career, and then and CM Punk is perceived as brittle. He's been getting injured a lot. Like they're both getting, obviously Goldberg I think is in his mid to late 50s. CM Punk in wrestling parlance is getting older. He's like, granted he's only like 44, I believe, but still, in wrestling parlance, that's kind of getting on in years, So first off, even if let's say Goldberg was open to that particular idea, I don't know if he is or not. Would CM Punk be agreeable to that, especially with Goldberg's reputation? And of course, as everybody knows as well, Khan is notorious for not booking his big men well. There are a lot of his own big men who would say that he's not, he doesn't book them all that well. So, and speaking, of course, as we transition to AEW news as well, Tony Khan's not happy with the WWE either, and this stems from how FTR lost the AAA titles late last year, as they had lost in a success. At one point last year, of course, FTR for much of the year had been triple champions. They were the IWGP World Tag Team Champions, they were AAA World Tag Team Champions, and they were Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Towards the end of the year, of course, in rapid succession, they lost all 3 titles. Now, what Tony Khan is upset about is that the team that FTR lost the AAA World Tag titles to was comprised of Drolistico and Dragon Lee. And when they lost to them, this was just before Dragon Lee signed with the WWE. So Tony Khan was not happy that his guys, the people representing his company, lost to somebody who ended up going to the WWE. Of course, this is not the first time that WWE and AEW's had problems with each other. There have been times when AEW has accused WWE of contract tampering with talent that is currently contracted to AEW. So that stuff is. Hey, Rick. Hey, Mike, and all else stopping by for a couple minutes before I do my show and hitting the like. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. I know. Apparently, I guess RJ couldn't get Tim on his channel until the same time I was on. So, but thank you for dropping in and liking and sharing. Hopefully, people will catch the replay. Um, but anyways, I'm finishing up here. So yeah, that's all. And of course, tomorrow night, AW has its AW has its Dynamite event. We went over the card last night. We'll go over the card tomorrow. Do you know that Powerhouse Hobbs will be defending the TNT title against Wardlow in a women's tag team match? Two members of the Outcast, Ruby Soho and Tony Storm, will be taking on AW World Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker, among some other things going on. So that's it for the wrestling wrap up. So I guess what we can do now is we can finish things off by taking a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. So let me see, 63, 73, and 53. Okay, so with all that being said, let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. First off, I'd like to wish a happy birthday, a happy 70th birthday to happy 70th birthday to Canadian actor, comedian, musician, songwriter, writer, and producer Rick Moranis. Now, everybody, of course, remembers Rick Moranis from his roles in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But some of his other animated credits include, Rut. He portrayed Rut in the Brother Bear franchise, the first two movies. Max Schneider in Gravedale High, Rick Moranis' Gravedale High. He portrayed the Toy Taker and Mr. Cuddles in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Island of Misfit Toys. He was also the co-creator and executive producer of Bob and Doug. So, happy 70th birthday to Rick Moranis. Cool. And Ghostbusters. Yep. All right. So, anyways, moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history, as of 1953. So, now we're going to head to 1963, 60 years ago today. As on this date, 60 years ago today, the 80th issue of My Greatest Adventures went on sale on this date back in 1963. Now, aside from the fact this was the 80th issue of this book from DC Comics, selling for 12 cents and was 32 pages, this also marked the first published appearance of the Doom Patrol. So on this date, back in 1963, 80th issue of My Greatest Adventure, featuring the first appearance of the Doom Patrol, went on sale on this date. Now, from what I understand, this book would eventually become, the book title itself would become the Doom Patrol. But on this date, back in 1963, it was the 80th issue of My Greatest Adventure from DC Comics. So, there we go with that one. And also, one more piece of Nietzsche history, 1973, as that's 50 years ago today, as on this date, 50 years ago today, from NWA America, from an NWA America show, Mid-America show in Nashville, Jackie Fargo and Jerry Jarrett defeated Jerry Lawler and Jim White for the NWA Mid-America Southern Tag Team Champ. This is a title that would eventually become the AWA Southern Tag Team title when Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett kind of basically took over like the Memphis territory from Nick Goulas's NWA Mid America, and they would become affiliated with loose affiliation with AWA. So on this date, 70 years ago today, Jackie Fargo and Jerry Jarrett defeated Jerry Lawler and Jim White for NWA Mid America Southern Tag Team titles. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. Let's see. Be a while before you get there in retrospect. Yeah. Yep. You're right. You're right at that. Retrospect. There's a T at the end of it. No E at the end. It's a T, Rick. Just to let you know. But anyways, I thank you guys for being here tonight. So, of course, don't forget this Friday I'll have Terry from Mighty Geek Studios on with me as my co-host, as we'll be looking back to we'll be, of course, continuing our look at comics that went on sale in October of 1939. This week we'll be focusing in on Marvel Comics, which at the time was known as Timely Comics, of course. We'll be going back to read from one more story from Marvel Comics #1, and then of course continuing with Marvel Mystery Comics Volume 1 #2, as well as introducing you guys to Daring Mystery Comics Volume 1, and some interesting stories there with that. We may go, I usually slate the Friday and Sunday shows, the weekend shows, for 2 hours. We may actually end up going closer to 2.5 because, of course, there's a little bit more material that I want to cover, particularly in Daring Mystery Comics, talking about that a little bit. So might be going a little longer this Friday than normal. But with that, I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. And I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.